in the heart of Manhattan's Upper East Side, where skyscrapers pierced the sky like arrogant fingers, Silas Harper had always felt like an outsider. Orphaned at 12 after a car crash that claimed his parents on a rainy New Jersey turnpike, he'd bounced through foster homes like a pinball, each one leaving bruises deeper than the last. By 18, he was on his own, scraping by with odd jobs, barista by day, delivery guy by night, while dreaming of something more. College was a pipe dream until a scholarship landed him at NYU, where the city's pulse matched his restless heart. That's where he met Alex Harrington. It was freshman orientation, a chaotic swirl of overeager students in Washington Square Park. Alex, with his effortless charm and golden boy looks, blonde hair cropped short, blue eyes that sparkled like the Hudson on a sunny day, bumped into Silas while juggling a stack of flyers. "Whoa, sorry man. You okay?" Alex's grin was disarming, the kind that made Silas's guarded walls crack just a little. They bonded over late-night study sessions in the library, sharing stories under the fluorescent hum. Silas opened up about his rough past, the foster families who saw him as a paycheck, the loneliness that clung like city smog. Alex, in turn, confessed his own burdens, growing up in the shadow of his parents' empire. The Harringtons were old money, real estate tycoons who owned half of Midtown. "They expect perfection," Alex said one night, his head on Silas's shoulder as they sat on a bench overlooking the park. "But I'm not perfect, not even close." Their friendship deepened into something electric. One rainy evening in Silas's cramped dorm room, with thunder rumbling outside, Alex leaned in. "I can't stop thinking about you," he murmured, and their lips met in a kiss that tasted like freedom and fear. It was Silas's first real love, raw and consuming. But Alex insisted on secrecy. "My parents, they're traditional. If they knew I'm gay, it'd destroy everything." Silas understood. Hell, he'd hidden parts of himself his whole life. So they loved in the shadows. Stolen weekends in Brooklyn hideaways, whispered promises under the covers. Life shifted when the Harringtons entered the picture. Silas had mentioned his backstory to Alex, who must have shared it, because one crisp autumn day, a sleek black town car pulled up outside his part-time job at a coffee shop. Out stepped Eleanor Harrington, elegant in a tailored coat, her silver-streaked hair impeccable. "Silas Harper? I'm Eleanor, Alex's mother. We'd like to talk." Over lunch at a swanky spot on Fifth Avenue, Eleanor and her husband, Richard, a stern man with a Wall Street glare, offered him the world. "We've heard about your hardships," Richard said, sipping his scotch. "We admire your resilience. We're involved in philanthropy, and we'd like to help. Consider us mentors." It started small, tuition paid in full, a better apartment in Greenwich Village. Then, invitations to family dinners at their sprawling penthouse overlooking Central Park. Silas was dazzled, the marble floors, the art collection worth millions. Alex was there, of course, playing the dutiful son, but their eyes met across the table with hidden fire. As months passed, the Harringtons grew fonder. "You're like the son we never had," Eleanor said one evening, her eyes misty. Richard nodded gruffly. "We've been thinking. We'd like to adopt you, legally, make you part of the family." Silas was floored. At 23, adoption seemed surreal, but the paperwork was drawn up. "Why me?" he asked. Eleanor smiled. "Because you remind us of what family should be. Strong, independent." Alex, in private, urged him on. "It'll make things easier for us," he whispered during a clandestine hug in the hallway. The adoption finalized on a sunny spring day in a judge's chambers. Silas Harrington, it had a ring to it. He moved into the guest suite in the penthouse, surrounded by luxury he'd never imagined. But cracks appeared. Alex grew distant, canceling their secret meetups. "Parents are watching," he'd text. Silas felt the isolation creeping back, masked by silk sheets and gourmet meals. One night, unable to sleep, Silas wandered into the family study. Moonlight filtered through the windows, casting shadows on the walls lined with books and photos. He paused at a large mirror, an heirloom with a gilded frame. As he stared at his reflection, tired eyes, the Harrington monogram on his robe, something caught his eye. Behind him, in the mirror's angle, was a half-open drawer in Richard's desk. Curiosity pulled him closer. Inside were letters, photos. His heart stopped. There, in vivid color, was a picture of him and Alex, arms entwined, kissing under the Brooklyn Bridge. Scribbled on the back, Alex's secret, handle with care. More documents, private investigator reports detailing their relationship, dated before the adoption offer. Betrayal hit like a freight train. They'd known all along. The adoption wasn't charity. It was control. To keep Silas close, to monitor, perhaps to break them apart. Silas's hands shook as he shoved the papers back. But the mirror had revealed the truth. He wasn't family. He was a pawn in their game. Rage boiled over. He stormed to Alex's room, bursting in. They knew. About us. Alex sat up, pale. Silas, wait. But Silas was gone, fleeing into the night, the city lights blurring through tears. How deep did the deception go? The streets of New York swallowed Silas whole that night, his footsteps echoing against the concrete canyons of Midtown. He wandered aimlessly, from the glowing billboards of Times Square to the quieter avenues of Chelsea, his mind a whirlwind of hurt and confusion. How could Alex let this happen? The man he'd loved, trusted with his shattered past, had stood by while his parents orchestrated this farce. By dawn, Silas found himself in a dingy diner on the Lower East Side, nursing black coffee that burned his throat. His phone buzzed incessantly. Texts from Eleanor. Where are you? We're worried. From Richard. Come home, son. And from Alex. Please, let me explain. Silas silenced it, staring at the steam rising like ghosts from his cup. Flashbacks haunted him. Their first date, sneaking into a jazz club in Harlem, Alex's laughter warm against his ear. You're the only one who sees me, Alex had said. Now it felt like a lie. Had Alex known about the investigation? Was the adoption his idea to keep Silas leashed? He crashed at a friend's couch in Brooklyn, a fellow NYU alum named Jamal who didn't ask too many questions. Rich folks drama, huh? Jamal said, handing him a beer. Silas nodded. But inside, the pain festered. Days turned to weeks. He ignored the Harringtons' calls, picked up extra shifts at a warehouse to scrape by. Independence tasted bitter, but it was his. Then, Alex showed up at the warehouse one rainy afternoon, drenched in a designer coat that screamed privilege. Silas, talk to me. His eyes were red-rimmed, pleading. They argued in the loading dock, voices echoing off metal crates. You knew they hired a PI? Silas spat. Alex shook his head. Not at first. When I told them about you, your story, they got curious. Protective. By the time I found out, the adoption was in motion. I thought it could work. We'd be together under one roof. Together? As brothers. Silas laughed bitterly. That's twisted, Alex. They adopted me to control us. To make sure their golden boy doesn't embarrass the family name. Alex stepped closer, grabbing Silas's arm. I love you. I was scared. Coming out to them is not easy. But I didn't betray you. Silas pulled away. Feels like you did. He walked off, leaving Alex in the rain. The conflict escalated when Eleanor appeared at his doorstep a week later, her poise cracking. Silas, please come back. We didn't mean to hurt you. In Jamal's cramped apartment, they talked. Eleanor confessed. We found out about you and Alex months ago. Richard was furious, our only son, hiding this. But I saw potential. Adopting you was my idea. To bring you into the fold, guide you both. Guide us? Or erase us? Silas demanded. She sighed. We're not monsters. We love Alex. And we've grown to love you. But society, the boardrooms, the galas, it's complicated. Silas felt a pang of sympathy. Eleanor's eyes held genuine regret. But the betrayal stung. You played God with my life. That night, alone, Silas wrestled with emotions. Love for Alex warred with resentment. He missed the warmth of their touches, the way Alex made him feel seen. But trust was shattered. High drama unfolded at a family gala the Harringtons hosted at the Met. Silas, against his better judgment, attended after Alex's desperate plea. One last chance. Dressed in a borrowed tux, he mingled among the elite, champagne flutes clinking like fragile alliances. Alex pulled him aside to a quiet balcony overlooking the city. I told them everything, he whispered. Came out. Said I love you. And I won't hide anymore. Silas's heart raced. What did they say? They're processing. Dad's pissed, Mom's hopeful. Alex cupped Silas's face. We can fix this. But as they leaned in for a kiss, Richard burst out. Not here. His face was thunderous. Alex, inside. Now. The confrontation spilled into the hall. Guests whispered as Richard hissed. This ends tonight. Silas, you're out. The adoption, we can reverse it. Eleanor's voice trembled. Richard, no. Silas stood tall. You don't get to decide who I am. He turned to Alex. Choose. Them or us. Alex hesitated, eyes darting. I can't lose my family. The words gutted Silas. Betrayal complete. He left the gala, the night air cold on his skin. Weeks blurred into isolation. Silas threw himself into work, but the ache lingered. Then, a letter arrived from Eleanor. We're sorry. Come talk. Reluctantly, he went to the penthouse. Richard was absent. Eleanor waited with tea. Alex is devastated. He regrets everything. Where is he? Silas asked. Upstate, clearing his head. She paused. We were wrong. Fear drove us. But seeing you too, it's real love. Silas softened. Love shouldn't be a secret. She nodded. Help us understand. Their conversation stretched hours, bridging gaps. Eleanor shared her own story. A closeted brother lost to suicide in the 80s. I don't want that for Alex. Compassion bloomed. Silas realized the Harringtons weren't villains. They were flawed, human. But the road to reconciliation was rocky. Alex returned, begging forgiveness. I was weak, but I'm ready now. They rebuilt slowly, dates in public, therapy sessions. The adoption stood, but as equals, not pawns. Yet, tension simmered. Richard resisted, cutting Alex's allowance, pressuring him to straighten up. The boiling point came during a heated family dinner in the penthouse, the skyline twinkling mockingly outside. Richard slammed his fist on the mahogany table, rattling the crystal. This is unnatural. I won't have it under my roof. Alex stood, face flushed. Dad, it's who I am. Who we are. Silas, seated beside him, felt the air thicken with decades of unspoken prejudice. Mr. Harrington, we're not asking for permission, just acceptance. Richard's eyes narrowed. You came from nothing, boy. We gave you everything. And this is how you repay us. Eleanor intervened. Enough. Richard, our son loves him. Isn't that what matters? The argument raged, old wounds reopening. Richard stormed out, leaving silence in his wake. Later, in bed, Alex clung to Silas. What if he never changes? Then we build our own life, Silas whispered, stroking his hair. But Richard's retaliation was swift. He froze Silas's accounts, revoked access to the family resources. If you're choosing this path, you're on your own, his email read. Poverty hit hard. Silas and Alex moved to a tiny walk-up in Queens, sharing a lumpy mattress and ramen dinners. Alex, unused to hardship, struggled, missed his comforts, the ease. Tensions flared. Maybe Dad was right. Alex snapped one night after a long shift at a retail job. This is too hard. Silas's heart cracked. Is that what you think? That our love isn't worth it? Alex backtracked, but doubt seeded. Silas wondered if the secret boyfriend phase had been easier. Passion without reality's grind. The ultimate betrayal unfolded when Silas came home early from work to find Alex on the phone, whispering, Yeah, Dad, I'll think about it. Hanging up, Alex paled. It's not what you think. Silas demanded the truth. Richard had offered a deal. End it with Silas, come home, and inherit the empire. He said he'd cut me off forever otherwise. And you're considering it? Silas's voice broke. Alex's tears fell. I don't know. I love you, but the pressure. Silas left, crashing with Jamal again. Alone, he confronted his demons, the fear of abandonment that echoed his childhood. Was he destined to be discarded? Days later, Alex showed up, suitcase in hand. I told Dad no. I'm all in. Reconciliation was tentative, kisses laced with apologies. They attended Pride in the city, hands linked openly, the rainbow flags a bomb. Eleanor joined them, her first step into acceptance. "I'm proud of you both," she said, hugging Silas. Richard remained distant, but cracks appeared. At a charity event, he approached Silas privately. "Eleanor's been talking sense into me. I don't understand it, but I see how happy Alex is. It wasn't full acceptance, but a start." Silas and Alex thrived. Alex pursued graphic design. Silas wrote a memoir about his journey. Their love deepened, rooted in trials. Yet fate twisted. Alex was diagnosed with a rare heart condition, a genetic flaw from the Harrington side. Hospital visits became routine, the beeps of machines a grim soundtrack. Silas stayed by his side, holding hands through chemo-like treatments. "We'll beat this," he promised. Eleanor visited daily, Richard lurking in the background, his stern facade softening. "Son," he said to Alex one day, "I'm sorry for everything." The family united in crisis. Silas saw the humanity, the fear behind Richard's bigotry, the love buried deep. As Alex recovered slowly, their bond strengthened. They married in a small ceremony in Central Park, cherry blossoms falling like confetti. Richard walked Alex down the aisle, tears in his eyes. "Welcome to the family, for real this time." Silas looked at his husband, the man who'd been his secret, his betrayal, his salvation. In the mirror of their shared life, he saw not fractures, but a beautiful mosaic. But life, ever dramatic, had one more turn. Years later, with Alex healthy and their life stable, a cozy brownstone in Brooklyn, adopted kids of their own, Silas reflected on the journey. The adoption that started as deception became redemption. The years unfolded like pages in a well-worn novel, each chapter etched with the ink of resilience and love. Silas and Alex built a life far from the opulent shadows of the Harrington penthouse, yet intertwined with the family that had once nearly torn them apart. Their Brooklyn home buzzed with the laughter of two adopted children, twins, Mia and Theo, rescued from the same foster system that had scarred Silas. "Full circle," Alex would say, watching Silas teach them to ride bikes in Prospect Park, his green eyes shining with pride. Richard's transformation was gradual, a testament to the power of persistent love. He started with awkward visits, bringing expensive toys that the kids adored but Silas eyed warily. Over barbecues in the backyard, conversations deepened. "I was raised in a different time," Richard admitted one summer evening, nursing a beer as fireflies danced. "Fear made me blind." Silas nodded. "Fear almost cost us everything." Eleanor became the glue, organizing family holidays where old tensions dissolved in eggnog and carols. She volunteered at LGBTQ+ centers, channeling her philanthropy into advocacy. "For my boys," she'd say, hugging them both. But echoes of the past lingered. Silas's memoir, Shattered Reflections, hit the bestseller lists, detailing the adoption's dark underbelly and their triumphant love. Interviews on morning shows brought scrutiny, the Harrington name dragged into the spotlight. Richard bristled at first, but Alex's gentle nudge, "It's our truth, Dad," softened him. In time, Richard even donated to Pride initiatives, a quiet amends. Romance never faded. On their 10th anniversary, Alex surprised Silas with a weekend in the Hamptons, a nod to their privileged roots but on their terms. Under starlit skies, they renewed vows. "From secret to forever," Alex whispered, his lips brushing Silas's. Yet, the story's humanity shone in quieter moments. When Theo came out as non-binary at 15, the family rallied without hesitation. Silas saw his younger self in Theo's eyes, the vulnerability, the strength. "We're here," he assured, and Richard, now a doting grandpa, added gruffly, "Anyone gives you trouble, you tell me." The mirror motif returned symbolically. In their home, a simple framed mirror hung in the hall, inscribed, "See the truth. Embrace it." It reminded Silas of that shattering night, but now with gratitude, for without the revelation, they might never have fought for authenticity. Conflicts weren't erased. Life threw curveballs. Business downturns tested Richard's empire, and he leaned on Silas's street smarts for advice. "You're the resilient one," Richard said, a rare compliment. Alex's health scare recurred mildly, but with family support, they navigated it. In hospital waiting rooms, bonds forged unbreakable. Eleanor confided in Silas. You saved us all, you know? Showed us what love really means. The ending wasn't fairy tale perfect, but profoundly human. No grand gestures, just everyday choices, to forgive, to grow, to love openly. Silas, once an orphan of circumstance, became the heart of a family redefined. As the sun set over the city one evening, Silas stood on their rooftop, Alex's arms around him. Think we'd do it all again? Alex asked. Silas smiled, leaning back. Every shattered piece. In America's melting pot, their story echoed countless others. Queer loves battling societal chains, emerging victorious not through perfection, but persistence. It was Kitsch Tin in its twists, Cam Suk in its depths, Lang Man in its core, and Nan Van in its message. Family isn't born. It's chosen, mended, and cherished. The mirror had revealed secrets, but in the end, it reflected hope.